Good morning, everyone. Today we will do chapter 5 Indigo. As you all know, that indigo is a dark blue color, rather a combination of blue and violet. In general, this color is a symbol of integrity and deep sincerity. Indigo color reflects devotion, wisdom, and justice with fairness and impartiality. So during Britishers' time, this dark blue color was obtained from the indigo plant and the crop was grown on Britishers' land by Indian tenants. So Indian farmers used to work on Britishers' land and in return pay them rent. So this chapter is one of the episodes of Gandhi's life and contains a first hand account of British landlords' high headedness and their difficult to bear and unjust policies due to which our Indian farmers had to suffer a lot. So, we are going to read how Gandhiji played a significant and important role in an unequal fight, and ultimately secured justice for the poor sharecroppers. Let's begin. So, chapter 5 Indigo is written by Louis Fisher. He was born in Philadelphia. It is a city in US. He served as a volunteer in the British Army between 1918 and 1920. Fisher made a career as a journalist and wrote for the New York Times, the Saturday Review, and for European and Asian publications. He was also a member of the faculty of Princeton University. Princeton University is in New Jersey. He was also a member of faculty at Princeton University. The following is an excerpt from his book, The Life of Mahatma Gandhi. The book has been reviewed as one of the best books ever written on Gandhi by Times Educational Supplement. So, Louis Fisher has written the book The Life of Mahatma Gandhi, and this chapter is a part of this book. Let's start reading. When I first visited Gandhi in 1942, here I refers to the author Louis Fisher. When I visited Gandhi in 1942 at his ashram in Sevagram in central India, he said, I will tell you how it happened that I decided to urge the departure of the British. It was in 1917. So Louis Fisher went to Gandhiji to gather some information. Gandhiji told him that it was in 1917 when an idea came to his mind how to force Britishers to leave India. Urge the departure. It means insist on the going away of Britishers from India. He had gone to the December 1916 annual convention of the Indian National Congress Party in Lucknow. There were 2,301 delegates and many visitors. During the proceedings, Gandhi recounted, a peasant came up to me looking like any other peasant in India, poor and emaciated, and said, I am Rajkumar Shukla, I am from Champaran, and I want you to come to my district. Gandhi had never heard of the place. It was in the foothills of the towering Himalayas near the kingdom of Nepal. Now you can see the 3 years mentioned here, 1942, 1917, and 1916. Now, in 1942, Louis Fisher met Gandhiji for an interview, and in 1917, an idea came to Gandhi's mind how to throw the Britishers out from India. And in 1916, Gandhiji was attending annual convention. Convention here means meeting. So he was attending annual meeting of Indian National Congress Party in Lucknow, and two delegates means representatives, 2301 representatives and many visitors were there. So during the proceedings, when the meeting was going on, Gandhiji tells us that a peasant came to him and told him that he is from Champaran district, and the peasant was very poor and emaciated. Emaciated means very thin. He was very poor and thin peasant. He told that I am Rajkumar Shukla. His name was Rajkumar Shukla and he is from Champaran district, and he want to take Gandhi along with him. And Gandhiji had never heard of this place, and this Champaran district lies in the foothills of the towering Himalayas. Foothills means at the base of the tall Himalayas near Nepal. Coming to the next paragraph. Under an ancient arrangement, the Champaran peasants means farmers, were sharecroppers. Now, sharecroppers means that the Indian farmers used to work on Britishers' land, and in return, they have to pay them rent, not in the form of cash, but in the form of some crop, some product. So the Champaran peasants were sharecroppers. Rajkumar Shukla was one of them. He was illiterate but resolute. Resolute means determined. He had come to the Congress session to complain about the injustice of the landlord system in Bihar, and somebody had probably said, speak to Gandhi. So Rajkumar Shukla visited Gandhiji because somebody has told him that only Gandhiji can solve your problem. So he was requesting Gandhiji that please come along with him in Bihar and solve their problem. Gandhiji told Shukla he had an appointment in Kanpur. Earlier, nowadays it is said Kanpur. Earlier it was written as Kanpur. So Gandhiji told Shukla that he had an appointment in Kanpur and was also committed to go to the other parts of India. Shukla accompanied him everywhere. Then Gandhi returned to his ashram near Ahmedabad. Shukla followed him to the ashram. For weeks he never left Gandhi's side. Fix a date, he begged, impressed by the sharecropper's tenacity. Tenacity means firmness. And story, Gandhi said, I have to be in Calcutta on such and such a date. Come and meet me and take me from there. So Gandhiji, after Lucknow's meeting, Gandhiji went to Kanpur, and after that he went to other parts of the India, and thereafter he went to ashram, his own ashram, and Shukla accompanied Gandhi everywhere. So at last Shukla begged Gandhiji to at least fix a date. When should I meet you? So impressed by Shukla's tenacity, his determination, Gandhiji told him that on so and so date I will be in Kolkata. You come and meet me over there. Kolkata. Coming to the next paragraph. Months passed. Shukla was sitting on his haunches at the appointed spot in Calcutta. When Gandhi arrived, he waited till Gandhi was free. Then the two of them boarded a train for the city of Patna in Bihar. There Shukla led him to the house of a lawyer named Rajendra Prasad, who later became president of the Congress Party and of India. Now, after months, Shukla reached where? In Calcutta. Then he was waiting for Gandhiji, sitting on the haunches. Haunches means You might have seen the farmers working and cutting the crops. How do they sit while they cut the crops? So Shukla was sitting on his buttocks at the appointed spot in Calcutta. When Gandhi arrived, he waited till Gandhi was free. Then both of them took a train and for the city of Patna in Bihar. And when they reached Bihar, it is written they took a train for the city of Patna, and there they reached Rajendra Prasad's house, who later became the president of Congress party and India. So Rajendra Prasad was the first president of India. So both of them reached to Rajendra Prasad's house. Rajendra Prasad was out of town, but the servants knew Shukla as a poor yeoman who pestered their master to help the indigo sharecroppers. Now, when they reached Rajendra Prasad's house, the servant was there and he knew that Shukla was a poor yeoman. Yeoman means poor landlord, small landlord who used to trouble Gandhiji to help the indigo croppers. So, as he was not in the town, so he told them to wait for him and they let him stay on the grounds with his companion Gandhi, whom they took to be another peasant. But Gandhi was not permitted to draw water from the well, lest some drops from his bucket pollute the entire source. How did they know that he was not an untouchable? So both of them were waiting there for Rajendra Prasad Shukla. Gandhiji was not allowed to draw water from the well because at that time farmers were believed to be untouchables, and if they will touch the water, take the water from the well, they will pollute the water. And the servant didn't know that Gandhi was a lawyer. Next, Gandhi decided to go first to Muzaffarpur. Now, after Patna, Gandhi decided to go to Muzaffarpur, which was en route to Champaran, en route on the way to Champaran, to obtain more complete information about conditions than Shukla was capable of imparting. He accordingly sent a telegram to Professor J.B. Kriplani of the Arts College in Muzaffarpur, whom he had seen at Tagore Shanti Niketan School. So they started for Champaran. Gandhiji decided to go first to Muzaffarpur, which was en route to Champaran. On the way means first Muzaffarpur will come and thereafter Champaran will come. So they reached Muzaffarpur because they want to collect some information from the poor peasants. Gandhiji telegrammed Professor J.B. Kriplani, who was a professor in the college, Arts College in Muzaffarpur. The train, now remember the name of the Professor J.B. Kriplani. The train arrived at midnight, 15 April 1917. Kriplani, J.B. Kriplani was waiting at the station with a large body of students. Gandhi stayed there for 2 days in the home of Professor Malkani, a teacher in a government school. So, Professor J.B. Kriplani received Gandhi and Rajkumar Shukla at the station with a large crowd of students. And what was the date? It was 15 April. But Gandhi stayed at Professor Malkani's house and he was a teacher in a government school. He was a teacher in a government school. Professor Malkani was a teacher in a government school. It was an extraordinary thing in those days, Gandhi commented, for a government professor to harbor a man To harbor a man means to give shelter to a man like me. In smaller localities, the Indians were afraid to show sympathy for the advocates of home rule. So, in those days, when the British rule was going on, it was an extraordinary, a rare thing, rather a daring thing for a British employee who works under Britishers. Professor Malkani, he used to work under Britishers. So it was a daring thing for him to give shelter to Gandhiji, who was a advocate of home rule. The news of Gandhi's advent means Gandhi's coming. The news of Gandhi's advent and of the nature of his mission spread quickly through Muzaffarpur and to Champaran. Sharecroppers from Champaran began arriving on foot and by conveyance to see their champion. Now the news was spread everywhere that their champion, their supporter, their hero has come to help them out. So sharecroppers started coming to meet Gandhiji. Muzaffarpur lawyers called on Gandhi to brief him. They frequently represented peasant groups in court. They told him about their cases and reported the size of their fee. So Gandhiji, Muzaffarpur lawyers told Gandhi that they have presented the peasants in the courts. They talked to Gandhiji regarding the cases in the court and also talked about the fees which they have charged, high fees they have charged from the peasants, from the farmers. Now Gandhiji chided the lawyers. Chided means scolded or rebuked the lawyers, or you can say blamed the lawyers for collecting big fee from the sharecroppers. He said, I have come to the conclusion that we should stop going to law courts. Now, what is the saying of Gandhiji? He said, I have come to the conclusion that we should stop going to law courts. Taking such cases to the courts does little good, where the peasants are so crushed and fear stricken. Crushed means the peasants are so poor, they are poverty stricken and fear stricken, and they are so frightened. Law courts are useless. The real relief for them is to be free from fear. Now, Gandhiji said that where the peasants are so poor and frightened, it is no use to take them to the courts because they won't speak anything in the court. So the first thing is that they should made free from fear. Coming to the next paragraph. Most of the arable land means the land on which cultivation can be done, on which crops can be grown. So most of the arable land in the Champaran district was divided into large estates, large properties, land properties owned by Englishmen and worked by Indian tenants. So Indian farmers used to work over the land which were owned by British persons, Englishmen. The chief commercial crop was indigo, and at that time, commercial crop was indigo. Indigo crop was exported from India. The landlords compelled all tenants to plant 3/20 or 15% of their holdings with indigo and surrender the entire indigo harvest as rent. This was done by long term contract. Now, what was the contract made between Indian farmers and Englishmen? That Indian tenants, they will grow indigo crop on 15% of their holding. Suppose 100% land is with farmers, and out of that 100% land, on 15% of the part of that holding, they have to grow indigo crop and surrender the entire harvest, whatever production will be there, they have to give it to the English landlords as rent. This was done by long term contract. Now, presently the landlords learned that Germany had developed synthetic indigo. They thereupon obtained agreements from the sharecroppers to pay them compensation for being released from the 15% arrangement. Now, landlords came to know that Germany had developed synthetic indigo. Synthetic means chemical indigo. This blue color can be obtained using chemicals. So they played a trick. They told the farmers that they will be released from growing indigo crop, but in return they have to pay them compensation amount. The sharecropping arrangement was irksome. Irksome. Irksome means troublesome. Now, this taking of compensation amount from the farmers, it was a troublesome thing. And many signed willingly. Many illiterate peasants signed that agreement, and they paid the compensation amount. Those who resisted, those who opposed, those who denied that we are not going to pay, they engaged lawyers, and the landlord hired thugs. Thugs means muscle men, the person who treats others violently. So landlord hired thugs and the peasants engaged lawyers. Meanwhile, the information about synthetic indigo reached the illiterate peasants who had signed, and they wanted their money back. Now, by the time this news came to the ears of illiterate peasants that we were released from that growing of indigo just because that synthetic indigo has been created. So that's why they were released. So now those illiterate peasants who have paid the compensation amount, they want their money back. At this point, Gandhiji arrived in Champaran to help the sharecroppers in getting the money back from the Britishers. So for today, this is enough. Remaining part we will do in the next video. Thank you. Take good care of yourself.